class standing up, so just meet me at the top of the mat. Bring your hands together at the heart. Close the eyes. And just feel the weight in the heels, the weight in the toes. Rock back and forth and find the happy place in the middle. Shins pull in, heels are heavy. Gently lift the knees. Drop the tailbone. The belly supports the spine, the chest floats up. Shoulders relax away from the ears. Back of the neck is long. The crown of the head floats up. Draw the chin in slightly. And focus on the breath. Just observe as it moves in and out of the body. We'll begin the practice chanting Om 3 times together. Focus on the sound, the vibration in the body, and the connection to those around you, those doing this practice together, even if at a different time. Take a deep breath in. Continue to follow the breath. And if you'd like to set a dedication or focus for today's practice, this is the time. Blink the eyes open and we'll begin with sun salutations. So hands together at heart center if they're not already there. With your inhale, reach the arms up and back. Look to the thumbs. Exhale, fold over the legs. Hands to the floor. Bend the knees if you need to, as much as you need to. Right foot steps back, lower the knee. Look up. Plant the hands, step to plank. Lower the knees, the chest, and the chin down to the floor. Inhale, heart forward and up, cobra. Lift the knees. Tuck the toes, lift the hips. Downward facing dog. Right foot steps between the hands, lower the back knee. Look up. Left foot steps up. Feet together. Body is folding. Press the feet down, stand up, reach the arms overhead. Hands together at the heart. Same thing, left foot moves first this time. Inhale, reach up. Exhale, fold over the legs. Inhale, left foot steps back. Lower the knee, look up. Right foot to plank. Exhale, lower knees, chest, chin. Hug the belly in, hug the elbows towards the ribs. Inhale, draw the heart forward and up. Exhale, tuck toes, lift hips. Inhale, left foot steps between the hand. Lower the back knee, look up. Exhale, right foot steps up. Inhale, strong legs press down through the toes, reach up. Exhale, hands to the heart. One more time each side. Inhale, Hasta Uttanasana. Exhale, Uttanasana. Inhale, right foot, Ashwasana. Left foot, Phalakasana. Exhale, Ashtanga Namaskara. Inhale, Bhujangasana. Exhale, Adho Mukha Svanasana. Inhale, right foot, Ashvasanchalasana. Exhale, left foot, Uttanasana. Inhale, Hasta Uttanasana. Exhale, Pranamasana. Inhale. Exhale, fold. Inhale, left foot, right foot. Exhale, lower. Inhale, lift. Exhale. Inhale, left foot. Exhale, right foot. Inhale, arms reach up. Exhale, hands to the heart. Inhale, reach up. Stretching through all the fingertips. Biceps draw alongside the ears. Straighten the arms as you can. Hugging the elbows towards the head. Draw the belly in so that the tailbone reaches down, even as the hips might be bowing forward. One more breath here. And then exhale. Fold over the legs. Bend the legs as much as you need to here so your chest and thighs can get close together. And you can wrap the arms behind the legs, sliding forearms down towards the heels. You can grab any version of forward fold you like. Let's take a few breaths here. Let the weight start to come forward towards the toes. Feel the energy traveling up the backs of the legs, up to the spine. And then just let the crown of the head be heavy so that it almost starts to pull the spine long, gentle tension on the spine. The crown of the head drips back towards the big toes. You can stay here or plant the hands, come towards crow or crane. The hands are planted shoulder width apart. Bend the knees, bring the knees to the backs of the upper arms. You can stay here. Just let the weight start to tip forward, taking more weight in the hands than the feet. You can bring one heel or both heels off. Maybe both heels come off together. Take one more breath. Step or float back, landing lightly. Inhale, you can take cobra or upward facing dog. Exhale, snake your way back to downward facing dog. And let yourself settle in here for several breaths. Hug the forearms towards each other. Press the hands away from the floor. Floor is a strong place for the hands to rest. Feel that support, that connection. Draw the belly towards the spine. Lift the hips high. Heels are heavy. Take one more breath here. Let the chest settle just a little bit closer towards the thighs, while keeping that support in the belly. Your next breath in, lift the left leg high. Right heel is heavy. A little balloon floats up under the right armpit. And then exhale, step the left foot forward between the hands. Lower the back knee. Untuck the right toes. And come up. Make about right angles with both legs. Lift your arms overhead. Kali Mudra. So first fingers pointing straight up. All the other fingers fold together. Lift the arms up. You might shift the shoulders side to side here. Keep the chest pressing up, up, up. So that eventually the arms might just fall back towards the back corner of the room. Press the feet down towards each other. Tailbone sinks towards the front heel. The top of the back foot presses into the mat. All the toenails connecting with the floor. Let the biceps draw back of the front foot. You can come onto the hands or stay onto the forearms. Tuck the back toes, straighten the legs. Press yourself forward and back in lizard. Hug your left leg in towards your left arm. So you can see my upper left arm is just hidden behind the lower leg. Draw the belly in towards the spine. Reach the right heel back. Stretch the chest forward. You can stay here, or maybe slide the left shoulder underneath the hip. Plant the hands. Stretch the chest forward. You can even press back with the hands to get more link through the spine. Really feel the connection of that left leg against the left shoulder. Maybe the arms release. Maybe you take a bind behind the back. Nothing changes but the arms. If you start to lose the integrity of the rest of the pose, don't worry about the bind in the arms. And one more breath here. And just release the hands. Step back to plank. Inhale here, draw the belly in, lift the knees. Exhale, lower knees, chest, chin, or chaturanga. Inhale, heart forward and up. Inner ankles are heavy. Exhale, downward facing dog. Let the chest rise and fall with the breath. Ribs are drawing in. Abdominals are strong, even as you open the chest. You're finding that balance between really opening the chest a lot here and just letting the belly and the ribs go, and keeping super strong, super straight in the spine. Find that balance. Stability, drawing in along the front of the body, but also letting it open up. On your next inhale, lift the right leg high. Press the left heel down. Feel the balloon supporting under the left armpit. Step the right foot forward between the legs. Lower the left knee down and tuck the toes. Come up. Arms reach overhead, hands interlace. Lift tall through the front of the body. And even here, before you start to go forward, if you really lengthen the tailbone towards the floor, you can feel a stretch along the front of the left hip, left quad. And then, keeping the tail heavy, press in through the feet. Draw the hips towards the front heel. Arms draw back. Pull the arms straight. And just breathe here. Hands are pulling you towards the wall behind you. Tailbone is pulling you towards that front heel. Take one more breath. Exhale, release into lizard. Hands or forearms to the floor, inside the front foot. Maybe just the outer forearm, maybe both. Slide forward and back. The back heel reaches towards the wall behind you. Belly hugs in, chest stretches forward. Gaze is steady. Inner edge of the right foot is heavy. Knee hugs in towards the shoulder. You can stay here, or you can take the right shoulder underneath the knee. You might plant the hands. You can use the hands pressing against the mat to keep the chest stretching forward. Maybe hands release, right hand grabs a hold of the left. Nothing else needs to change. One more breath here. And then release. Plant the hands. Step to plank. Inhale. Exhale, bend the elbows, lower in and out. Inhale, press the floor away. You can lower the knees at any time. Exhale, lower. Inhale, press the floor away. 3 more. Exhale, lower. Inhale, plank. Exhale. Inhale. 2. Inhale. Last one. Exhale. Inhale to plank. You can finish the vinyasa, you can go to child's pose, or just right back to downward facing dog. Do what the body needs. Take a few breaths and come back to the breath. And we'll all meet in downward facing dog now. Step the left foot forward between the hands. Come into a low lunge. Deep bend in the front knees. Feel this chest stretch forward. And the back knee is lifted strong. Hands are just floating away from the mat. Press into the front foot to rise up. Reach the arms overhead. Just take a hold of the opposite elbow so you've got a little square rectangle above your head. The back knee stays lifted. And keep tailbone reaching towards the mat. So instead of here, you're here. Ribs are drawing in, tailbone heavy. And then you can draw the arms back, lift the chest. Once you have the stability in the core and the hips. Left elbow reaches up, right elbow reaches up. One more breath. And then any arms you like, fold forward, weight is in the left foot. Lift up into balancing T, Virabhadrasana 3, or Patanvrikshasana, toppling tree. You can interlace the hands. Take the back heel up and let the chest fold forward. Either way, focus the gaze on the one point, reach through the back toes. Take one more breath wherever you are. And then slowly, gracefully, float back, we'll land in Warrior One. Just one breath here. On the exhale, come to Warrior Two. Reaching through, front fingertips. And I'll just come this way so that I'm facing you. So again, left foot is bent, gaze is over the left fingertips. From here, reach towards the front of the mat, side angle. You can take forearm to thigh and hand to the floor inside the front foot. Stretch the chest forward and then roll it open. Reach through the top arm. If it's okay for your neck, take the gaze to the extended arm, fingertips. You can stay here or reach underneath. Bottom hand takes the top hand for the bind. You might stay here. If you want to work into something a little bit more complicated, a little bit of a challenge towards an arm balance, you can take this bottom knee down, kickstand the foot out. So my right foot is off of the mat. And I'm going to take my left shoulder underneath the left knee. Press into the left hand, so when that happens, my left foot comes off of the mat. You can stay here. My left leg is really squeezing my left arm here. You can extend it out. Maybe right hand takes a hold of the left foot. Open up. A variation of Mistrasana. And if you're here or playing around, plant the foot, return to side angle. Take one more breath here. Return to Warrior Two. Keep the bend in the front leg. reach up and back. And then exhale, cartwheel the hands forward, step back to plank. Inhale here. Exhale, move through the vinyasa. Back to downward facing dog. You can stay in downward facing dog. You can come into child's pose, or you might come onto your forearms. If you're coming onto your forearms, you can drop the knees, or just drop the elbows right below the shoulders. So either way, elbows come below the shoulders. Bring the fingertips together, making a V with the lower arms. And just walk the toes in closer to the elbows. You can stay here. You might lift a leg. If the leg is lifted, maybe you take little hops. So the more you swing this top leg up, it can just pull the bottom leg off of the mat. Maybe you catch a balance. You can bend the knees, use the legs to help balance, eventually bringing the legs together overhead. But maybe just staying here for today. And if you lifted one leg up, you might try switching the legs in the air, or just switching the legs on the ground. But make sure you do both legs. So if you've done one leg, do the other leg. If you're still resting in child's pose, you might come back to downward facing dog, or vice versa. If you've been in downward facing dog, you might take child's pose. Take a few more breaths, and just finish whatever you're doing, whether you're on your forearms, or you're resting in child's pose. Start to make your way back to downward facing dog. And we'll come into the second side of our standing series. So the right foot steps forward between the hands. And keep the hands grounded to start off with. Set yourself up. Scoop the right hip back. Straighten the back leg. Left knee is strong. And let the hands just get light on the mat. And then from there, press into the front foot. Lifting up. Take a hold of the opposite elbow overhead. And instead of letting the belly be soft and sticking the tailbone out, tailbone is heavy, ribs and the belly hug in. So you should feel more of a stretch in the front of the back leg that way. And then from there, you can press the forearms up towards the ceiling, maybe drawing them back, lifting the chest. Reach the right elbow up, keep that length. Reach the left elbow up to match it, keep that length. Maybe the front knee bends a little bit deeper. And from here, release arms, any arms you like. Weight comes onto the front foot. Lift the back leg. You can keep the position square, Virabhadrasana 3, or Patanvrikshasana, back leg lifts high, body tips forward, keeping a lift in the chest. Steady gaze either way, and breathing. Take one more breath here. Bend the standing leg, and float back to warrior one. One breath in. Feel the feet melt into the mat. Exhale, open to warrior two. Gaze rests just beyond the front middle finger. Tailbone is heavy, chest floats up. And then reach forward, coming into side angle, forearm to the thigh, or hand to the floor. Spin the palm towards the front of the room. So you reach it overhead, so eventually the palm faces the floor. Chest stretches forward, then turns up. You can stay here or take a bind. And just breathe, focusing on the top fingertips if that's comfortable for your neck. And if you chose to play around with the arm balance on the first side, take both hands to the mat, drop the back knee, kickstand the foot out. Then take right shoulder underneath the right leg. And remember, you can stop anywhere along this path. Press into the right hand, squeeze the leg against the shoulder. You might just straighten the leg out, or take a hold of the foot, and extend the leg in and out. And from there, same action as side angle, chest rolls open. One more breath here, and whatever you've done, returning to side angle. Press the front foot into the mat, keep the bend in the knee as you float up to warrior two. And on your next inhale, reach up and back. Exhale, cartwheel the hands forward. Inhale, step to plank. Exhale, move through the vinyasa. Back to downward facing dog. Walk the hands back to meet the feet. Peace fingers, first two fingers, grab the big toes, Padangusthasana, bend the knees if you need to. On your inhale, stretch the chest forward. Exhale, pull with the fingers to pull the body close to the legs. Feet are heavy against the mat. Let the gaze settle in the space between the eyebrows. Nowhere else to be right now. Let everything else go. Don't worry too much about the shape the body is making. Just let all of your awareness reside in that space. And then blink the eyes open, keep a hold of the right toes, take the left hand to the hip, let the weight pour into the left foot. And then as you stand up, take the right leg with you. Right leg can stay straight, it can bend. And meet me standing. Lift the chest, and then let go of the foot. From here, bend the knee, and we're just going to make our way towards standing stick, but take as long as you can to get there. So really extend out, stopping in warrior three, and then just keep the back heel lifting as you slowly fold forward, taking the hands to the mat only when you need to, only when you're already there. So you have a few options here. You can keep the hands on the floor, you can take some blocks here. You might wrap the right hands around the ankle, working on balance, focusing the gaze on the big toe. Or you can walk the hands forward a little bit. Let the weight fall into the hands, maybe come up onto the left heel or left toes, and play around with balancing on the hands. So just let the weight feel like it's naturally coming into the hands if you're coming up towards a handstand. So you barely have to kick off that left foot. The right toes stretching up, and the left leg just floats up. Maybe trying that a few more times. Then wherever you are, let the right leg return to the floor by the left and fold over. This time hands slide underneath the feet, Padahastasana. Padas are the feet, hastas are the hands. behind you, and then lifts up, up, up. Hands eventually coming to blocks or the floor, maybe even right to the ankle. Gazes to the right big toe. And then, if you want to play around with handstand, take the hands about a foot or so forward. And then, elbows strong, hugging in. Just let the weight start to rock into the hands. So the right foot almost just floats off of the mat. You don't even have to take the right leg up. You can just leave it heavy so that there's less fear of flopping over. And maybe you catch it. Maybe you just take little hops. Left leg stretches up. Take another breath or two here. And then eventually meeting in a forward fold. Bend the knees, ragdoll up. And just take one big breath here. Stretch the arms overhead. Reach through the fingertips. And then folding forward again. Walking the hands back out to downward facing dog. Lower the knees and sit back into child's pose. Or if you prefer, you can lie back into Supta Virasana. If this is a comfortable, relaxing position for you. Wherever you are, let the eyes close or soften. Let the awareness come to the space between the eyebrows. Maybe the point where the forehead touches the floor. And just let everything melt away. And from here, we'll come up to a seated position. And we'll take one more inversion so you can continue with shoulder stand or forearm balance or handstand. If you want to work on handstand, you can take either of those to your wall. Or if headstand is in your practice, take headstand. You always have the option. You need something more restorative of legs up the wall. You can take a block underneath here. So I'm going to come into forearm balance and I'll talk you through that, but feel free to do anything where the hips are higher than the heart. So if you're coming into forearm balance, press the forearms down, just like downward facing dog. Forearms are on the floor. Walk the toes in. And maybe you take little hops. If you're at a wall, you might be a little bit more ambitious. Reach both legs up. And if you're at the wall, you might pitch yourself up and come over a little bit too far. So my feet are touching the wall here, but my back is bowed out. And then take one foot away from the wall so that you can get the rest of your body straight. And then you can switch the feet. So just getting that 1 foot lighter on the wall, playing around with switching the feet. So everything except for that toe that's touching the wall is in a straight line. And maybe you find balance there. And whatever you've been doing, take a few more breaths, finish it up, and we'll all meet in child's pose. In child's pose, let the breath settle. Allow fingers, tuck the toes, lift the hips. And we're gonna come into pigeon pose from here. I'm gonna lift the left leg high. Stretch the leg forward, setting yourself up. As you inhale, lift the heart. Exhale, folding forward. So the left foot can be more towards the front of the mat, so the foot is more, the shin is more parallel, and that will be a bigger stretch for the hip. Usually, you can bring the foot towards the hip, the right hip, and that will be more accessible, usually. And then just walk yourself forward. Let the forehead rest on the block. Maybe stack the fists, or let the forehead rest on the floor. And take a few breaths. Sometimes in pigeon, I like to take the same hand as the front leg, so in this case, the left hand, and just press it straight out to the side, so that you're just pressing, so it's just pressing your whole body towards the right. And it helps to get the right hip a little bit heavier, which should, in turn, deepen the stretch in the left hip. And sometimes, especially if I'm feeling tight and that left hip's feeling a little bit stubborn, it helps to gently coax it into relaxing. Take one more breath here. And then plant the hands. Just return to downward facing dog. And bring right leg forward. Second side. Walk the left leg back, sitting up tall. Fold forward. Maybe the forehead is resting on something. If it was helpful on the other side, you could take the right hand out and press the heel of the hand into the floor. And that just helps to even out the hips a little bit. Helps the left hip to be heavier. And then eases the right hip into a deeper stretch. And from here, just sit up, swing the left leg around. Scoot to the top of the mat. And we'll roll back into shoulder stand. You can always do legs up the wall again here if you don't want to do shoulder stand for any reason. Hug the knees in. Walk the hands up the back. Stretch the legs overhead. And if you can, fold the legs into the lotus position. Go ahead. Sometimes it's easier to fold the legs into lotus before you roll back. Let the eyes close. Focus on the space between the eyebrows. And just imagine the work, the weight, any stress draining out of the body. Maybe it was stuck in the legs, stuck in the feet. And returning to the center, to the heart, to recirculate, rejuvenate, freshen. Space behind the forehead, between the eyebrows, is a strong magnet for your awareness. Let's let everything come into focus there. And fold the legs overhead. If you have lotus position, you can keep the legs in lotus. Maybe the arms reach around Find a bind. If the legs are straight, toes can come to the floor. If the toes don't reach the floor, bring the knees to the forehead. Keep the gaze turning inward. And releasing, return the spine to the floor. Coming into Matsyasana, the fish. The hands can stack underneath the tailbone, lifting the chest, let the head fall back. If you're in the lotus position, you can grab behind the thighs, picking the chest up, and then take a hold of the tops of the feet. Whether the hands are stacked under the tailbone or holding the feet, or holding on behind the thighs, the chest is lifting up, the head is relaxing back. Focuses on the space between the eyebrows. One more breath. And then relax back onto the mat. And let the arms and the legs straighten and fall out to the side. 2 more deep breaths here. Tiny little nap. And then hug the knees into the chest. Rock up to a seated position. You can face the wide edge of your mat if you want to, or just keep facing however you are. We're going to extend the left leg out, fold the right knee in. So you have options for the right knee. You can take the right knee like this, or you can flip the leg over if this is comfortable for your knee. I usually like to do this version, but either one, we're focusing more on the left leg here. So either way is fine. You can take the left arm alongside the left leg, hand or elbow to the floor. Just take the right hand so you're supporting behind the head. Stretch the right elbow up and over. The right hip is heavy. And you might stretch a little bit more alongside here. You can reach the right hand or the left hand underneath to take a hold of the right foot. And just let your head roll back. And I like this variation with the hand behind the head because it sort of takes away the pressure, the goal, if you will, of getting that hand, the top hand, to the other foot. And it's also a nice support for the head. Just let it relax back. And let the weight of the head add a little bit extra stretch to the right side of the body. Take one more breath here. And then return up. And then just switch the legs. Straighten the right leg out. Left foot folds in however you like, here or here. Right arm is along the right leg. Reach the left arm up, push into the right hand to ground the left hip. And then just take a hold of the back of the skull so that the hand can support the head. And relax the head into the hand. You might reach the right arm underneath for the left ankle. And chest is rolling towards the ceiling. Head is relaxing into the hand. One more breath. And return upright. Take both legs wide. Sitting up tall. If this is a big stretch for you, you can take the hands behind you and just use the hands to support the body. Stay right here. This could be plenty. If you want more, walk the hands forward. You can push into the hands. And imagine drawing the belly away from the legs towards the mat. Sometimes it's nice to put a block under the chest or under the belly here for support. And you can come onto the forearms, maybe all the way to the floor. And just be aware of how the body feels. Observing the sensation. If the sensation is too much, if it's pain, backing off, respecting the body. Let less be more. Let less be enough. And then wherever you are, let yourself breathe. Let the body be relaxed as much as possible. This might be a really intense position for you. It might be a really comfortable position for you. Either way, just let it be what it is. Let yourself stay a few more breaths. And then walk yourself back in. Come forward. Come onto the belly for our back bends. And start off, come into bow pose. So bend the feet in towards the heels. Reach back. Take a hold of the feet or the ankles. On your inhale, pick the feet up towards the ceiling. Lift the chest up. Hug the knees towards each other. They might be really close, they might be really wide, but just keep that energy between the legs. Press the feet back. See if you can pick the thighs up off of the mat. Take one more breath here. Let everything lift up. And then exhale, release. Let the heels flop out. Let one cheek come onto the mat. And set yourself up. One more time, we'll take that pose. Bend the feet in, reach back, take a hold. On your inhale, pick everything up. Pull back with the feet. Let them be a little bit stronger. And then reach with the chest. Let the chest be a little bit stronger. So the legs come off of the mat. And then find the balance right in the middle. Everything is lifted. And then keep all of that. Just release the bind of the hands against the feet. Can you still pick the thighs up off of the mat? Even if just the tiniest amount. Take one more breath here. And release. As you're ready, press back to child's pose. Take full deep breaths, spreading into the lower back. And then roll up to a seated position. Shift the hips to the left, feet to the right. And take the right foot, stand it outside the left knee. Right hand comes behind you, the left leg can straighten if you like. As you inhale, reach the left arm up. Exhale, twist, you can hug the knee. You can take elbow to the outside of the knee. Sitting up tall, fingers can reach up towards the ceiling. You can take a hold of either foot Sometimes I start off holding the foot that's closer to the hip. And then as the body settles into the pose, take the foot to the opposite, or the hand to the opposite foot. So let the crown of the head float up. Turn the gaze over the back shoulder. Close the eyes and focus on the breath. One more breath in. And keep the legs where they are as you slowly unwind. Just take the hands to the opposite side. Really draw your belly in. And just find a counter twist. So you're pushing with your hands. I like to hollow my belly out. You might like to just fold forward. Whatever feels good. And then come back up. Just switch the legs. Left foot stands outside the right knee. Left hand is behind. Inhale, reach right arm up. Exhale, twist. Hold the knee. Elbow can be outside the knee. Fingers to the ceiling. Maybe to the toes by the hip. Or the toes of the other foot. Lower back presses in. Chest floats up. And the gaze extends over the back shoulder. Let the eyes drift closed. And just watch the breath moving in and out. From here, slowly unwind the torso, keep the legs, and just plant the hands to the other side of the body. So on the right side of the body, draw the belly in, and just do whatever feels good here. So I like to really hollow out, fold over, push with that right hand. But if something else feels good for you, just let it feel good. Just fully wringing everything out. And then release. And come onto your backs for Shavasana. Find any props you like. And just make yourself comfortable. Make space for the legs, space for the arms. And then with your next breath, take a big inhale. Fill the entire body up. Hold at the top. And exhale, sigh. Let it all out. Let yourself sink in. Soak in the benefits of the practice. Right hand, palm is soft, thumb and fingers completely relaxed, forearm heavy, upper arm, shoulder, melt into the mat. All of the limbs heavy and relaxed, as if filled with wet sand. Let the entire length of the spine, all the muscles of the back and shoulders sink into the mat. The neck and the scalp soften. Eyes are heavy in the sockets. Tongue is relaxed. Throat is light. The chest is spacious. Breath easy. Let the belly soften. The entire body is completely relaxed as if in deep sleep. Leave the body by itself. Leave the breath by itself. Go within. Find the true self. Begin to bring awareness back to the breath. Notice the air moving across the nostrils, the rise and fall of the torso. And eventually, return awareness to the entire body. You can make little movements in the fingers and toes. You stretch the arms overhead. And as you're ready, come to a seated position, letting the eyes stay closed or soft. Sitting up tall, keeping awareness on the breath. And we'll close just with a few rounds of alternate nostril breathing. So the left hand palm faces up, thumb and first finger together, Jnana Mudra. Right hand starts in Vishnu Mudra. The first two fingers fold down towards the base of the thumb, or you can take the first two fingers to the forehead. The thumb closes off the right side of the nose. The fourth finger closes off the left side of the nose. Breathe out through both nostrils. Press the thumb in, closing the right side. Breathe in through the left. Press the thumb and the finger together, closing the nose. Release the thumb out through the right. In through the right. Hold at the top. Out through the left. In left. Hold at the top. Release the thumb out through the right. In right. Hold at the top, out through the left. And left, hold, out right. In, hold, out left. 2 more rounds on your own. you breathe out through the left, you're going to continue the pattern of breathing in and out through the different sides of the nose. Just to release the hand to the knee. So see if you can continue alternate nostril breathing without the use of the hand to close off the nostrils. Maybe you find just a little bit of the sensation. Continue alternate nostril breathing without the hand. And the next time you breathe out through the left side, even if it's just in your imagination, release the breath and just let it return to a natural rhythm. In and out through both sides. We'll close chanting Om Shanti Shanti Shanti. Shanti means peace. Take a deep breath in. Om Shanti.